Good morning, y'all. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. Make sure you get out and enjoy this amazing weather and get some sun today. Prioritize whatever the things are that you feel like you need to prioritize to make it a great week and make yourself healthy. But I wanted to share a little bit of info that I think would be really useful, because I had some realizations over the past couple days about how deadlines and 0 hours impact and optimize my health. And I'm walking backwards and walking in circles because I'm trying to stay out of the wind, because I know how irritating that can be in the microphone. So we're going to see how this works out. I'm tired of shooting indoors. So I'm going to explain what that means. So there's 4 areas that we would benefit from using some deadlines with, all right? And when I say deadlines, it's like if you have in your mind this time that you won't go past or you won't do before certain things, then if you embed that in your unconscious mind by telling yourself that's when you want to stop something or start something, then when it comes to that point, it's going to be much easier to make that decision because you already know that that's what you want to do. All right, so I think there's 4 main areas as far as what I've determined that it would be useful to have these deadlines or 0 hours. And that would be sleep, caffeine, alcohol, and dinner, which is also associated with sleep. So let's go through these examples. And I think this is useful. You can customize these to you. So I would say wake up no later than sunrise. All right, and that may not be possible for a lot of people, but I'm just telling you what's ideal. All right, I get up at 3:30, which is way before sunrise. If I try to sleep in, which is almost impossible to do because my body is so set with the way that I've been doing things for so long, I've been training my body, like it's really hard to sleep in, but I definitely always get up before sunrise because my body just starts to move. And so ideally you'd be getting up no later than sunrise, because if you're getting up past that, you're starting to go against the Earth's natural circadian rhythms and the rotation of the Earth and the rising and setting of the sun, all right? So the second thing would be having your first cup of coffee no earlier than 3 to 4 hours after waking up. Now, why do we do this? Because when you first wake up, you have your largest cortisol secretion, which is your body's way of getting you up and going and mobilizing energy. All right, so if I have a cup of coffee at the same time that I'm having a cortisol spike, I'm not getting or experiencing the benefits of that caffeine, that little stimulus, because it's being muted by the cortisol spike. All right, so to get the most benefit out of drinking coffee, and I know a lot of us, especially in the SHT community, don't really drink coffee for the energy part of it, but if you can just try to have some delayed gratification and give yourself 3 to 4 hours after you wake up to have that first cup of coffee, you might notice a little something more from it. All right, so I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I don't have my first cup of coffee until 7 a.m. when I go on my walk and do all my quiet time and stuff like that. All right. So, and again, delayed gratification, I can't wait to have that first cup of coffee because I've been waiting for it, you know. And then have your last cup of coffee no later than 6 to 7 hours before bedtime. Now, why do we do that? Because caffeine has a half-life of about 6 to 7 hours in most people, which means it takes 6 to 7 hours to dissipate half of the amount of caffeine in your bloodstream. And so if you have any caffeine closer to bedtime than that, then it's probably going to be disrupting your sleep, even if you don't think caffeine affects you that much. All right. So again, I get up at 3:30. I try to be in bed by 6:30 or 7:30, 8 at the latest. And so for me, 1 p.m. is that sweet spot of 6 to 7 hours before bedtime. Come on, bud. All right. So, and then your last alcoholic drink, I would say 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, so that you're giving your body time to dissipate that from your system. Because I have noticed by wearing my Whoop strap and also my Oura ring that having alcohol anywhere closer than 2 to 3 hours before bedtime is always going to impact my sleep and mess up my heart rate. All right. And then finishing eating no later than, I would say, 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. All right, so that gives the food enough time to go from your upper GI or your stomach down into your small intestine. And I think for most people, if we eat right before bed, we're going to notice a little bit of disruption to sleep because the body's trying to digest the food in the stomach and push it down into the small intestine. Now, you know, you got to make this work in a modern lifestyle, so I think it's better to eat real food close to bed than it is not to eat real food at all. But we're talking about like what's kind of ideal here to help with sleep. All right. And then I would say getting in bed no later than 7 hours before your projected rise time. So we all know what time we need to get up in the morning. You need at least 7 hours of bedtime to allow yourself to sleep and get the minimal amount of sleep, because most of us are going to take some transition time to fall asleep, and then we're probably going to wake up a couple of times in the middle of the night. All right, so let me just go back through that again. Wake up no later than sunrise. Have your first cup of coffee no earlier than 3 to 4 hours after waking up, so that you're not being muted by that cortisol spike. Have your last cup of coffee no later than 6 to 7 hours before your projected bedtime, because otherwise it could be messing with your sleep. Have your last alcoholic drink, when you drink, no later than 2 to 3 hours before your projected bedtime, so your body can get rid of that toxin and it won't impact your sleep. Finish dinner no later than 1 to 2 hours before your projected bedtime, so that you can move that food from the upper GI of your stomach down to the small intestine and sleep a little bit better. And then get in bed no later than 7 hours before your projected rise time, to give yourself enough time to facilitate some decent quality sleep. All right, so I'll have a little cheat sheet that you can print out and an image, and I hope that's useful for y'all. Oh, and I was getting a little nervous here. Where the hell's my dog at? Because it's Sunday, make it a great day. Make sure that you prioritize the things that you need to make you feel amazing. So that means prioritize real food. Think about what you're going to do this week. Think about what you're going to do for fasting, what experiments you're going to do. What things are you going to go without, all right, and be testing for? We always need to be doing that. Prioritize sleep this week, and prioritize fitness and quiet time, all right? Whatever that is to you. Make it a great week, yo.